Good afternoon and welcome to New Forest Day Opportunities online sessions and back in the veg garden today. And today, as part of our 12-week training sessions, which incorporate all our outcomes for the people we support, I'm going to show you a basic mower service. Equally, you can do this at home with your parents and save you a little bit of cash. So we're going to start off, when you've got your mower at home, we give it the basic safety check over, so making sure that nothing is hanging off, so making sure the exhaust guard is safe, the wheels are all secure, you know, any screws or nuts or bolts are loose, and if they are, obviously get your mum's toolkit out and tighten them all up. And equally, a lot of the things that go, this one's not so bad, it hasn't got the foldaways, this has got like a suspension, so this is just check that that's all okay, and just have a general sort of look over to make sure it's okay. So if we were going to service it, and you could save yourself a lot of money by doing this, so if there's something wrong with the engine and stuff, you know, you may have to take it into your local supplier, your lawnmower repair shop, but generally once a year what you should be doing is changing the filter. And to do this, on most of these mowers, whether they're Honda or Briggs & Stratton, they're generally got this type of paper element motor filter. So all you do, you've got two release catches, you push those in with your finger, and then you'll see that is definitely overdue. That's from all the dust and the grass that's in and around mowing, so that would be a nice little change. So a quick tap out, clean off, and of course this allows clean air into our carburetor. So if I take that round a little bit, so this lets clean air go into our carburetor, which is behind the filter system. That's typical working over a Heathrow when the planes come over. Anyway, so that hooks back in there, like so. And then you can purchase all this equipment either online or at your local, I mean you could probably get it at Halfords or your local mower shop, but you've got to save yourself a lot of money if you do it yourself. So, you just slot that back in the recess, like so, and it just sits in there. And then it clips shut. You'll find another system is there's a butterfly nut screw, and generally what they are, you unscrew them, take them out, and they're generally a washable filter in them, so you can wash them, pop it back in, and away to go. So that's your air filter. Our next job is our plug. So just generally at the front of the engine you'll see a cap, and that covers the spark plug. So when you remove that, and again what happens is when you buy your mower, it generally comes with a bag of tools and equipment. So one of the things would be this plug spanner, and if you go and look in your shed now, you'll probably find it still in the bag with the instructions. So you get that out and that will fit your plug. So you slot it on and then just gently anti-clockwise unscrew the plug. So once it's loose, like so, you should be able to get your finger in there and unscrew it. So this has been very busy, this mower has, all summer, with the people we support, mowing all our lawns, and sometimes me after work, but generally our guys. So I mean, it's not in bad nick, but the way to get the number off it is that it'll have a number. So that's BPR5ES, and that's an NGK type plug, but they'll come as Champion. Well, there's all sorts of different plugs, but if you take that plug into Halfords or your mower shop, you'll be able to get a replacement plug for that for only about £3, and if you paid for it to be done, it'll cost you more like £30. So it's definitely a good saving. So I have a plug in here which I can replace it with. And although this is a different type of plug, this is an Oregon, you just check really, it's the depth that counts. So it's the depth of the housing of the system. Because obviously if it was too long or too short, it'd be miles away from the plug. And the whole point of a spark plug is on compression. When the piston, when the carb lets in an amount of fuel and air, and the piston goes up and it's compression, and just as at the top of this compression, the plug will ignite a spark which will fire it and send the piston back down. So that's basic engineering, and it'll do that many times a minute. So the thump, and that's the noise of the engine. The thump of the pistons is the bump, bump, bump. So anyway, but you can look more into that. So there's the new plug. So we pop that in the housing, and you just make sure you don't cross thread it. So you just pop it in the housing and just gently feel for it to bite. So I've got it biting now, so I'm going to do half a twist back just to make sure I haven't cross threaded it, and then away to go. So I know now it's nicely in, and that is going to give me a brilliant spark when we restart it. But you know it's going to take a bit of turning because there was a long thread on it. Just remove that out of the way. So my plug spanner again, in she goes. And then what you want to do, I mean, you don't want to be cranking this off because you'll break the plug, but it's a sort of a, you just got to get it, you know, just nice. So it's that just nice. Don't overforce it. It needs to be tight enough because you don't want it rattling around. And then you replace the plug cap back on, because that's what's going to give it its electric current. So this mower, this is a sump mower, so it's a normal 4-stroke compression mower, and you'll get 2-stroke mowers as well. And 2-stroke mowers don't have a sump, and that'll be like your hedge cutters and your strimmers and stuff like that. So you'll need to add a 2-stroke fuel to those mowers because they don't have a sump. But these do have a sump, and you can tell that by our filler cap here. So at the bottom of the engine is an oil sump, and you have to put oil in that because otherwise it'll seize up. And as I said, in a 2-stroke we would have a mixture of oil that goes into the fuel mix. So this is just normal unleaded fuel, which you can get from any garage. So you can change the oil. I'm not going to demonstrate that today, but it's just a standard multi-grade engine oil. This one happens to be from Morris, and that's actually a base in my hometown in Shrewsbury. And Morris deliver generally to farms and agricultural areas all over Great Britain. So good old Morris, keep up the good work. And you know, I'll take the hit for that, Morris, thank you very much. So to change the oil, if we were going to do it, you would unscrew, this is the dipstick, and even a mower has a dipstick. So on that you can see the markings, and as long as it's inside the sort of X marks the spot type thing, the range, then you know that you've got enough oil in it. If you were going to change this, for example, what you would have to do is tip it. So there's no drain plug on this mower. On some mowers you have a drain plug socket, sump plug at the bottom of it. On this one there isn't one. So what you'd have to do, you'd have to have a container, probably you know, an old jug, and you tip it sideways and the oil would go out, and then you'd replace it with a fresh oil once a year. But we have changed the oil this year already, and but give it a check once a week. So you screw it down, unscrew it again, and you can see that the oil is probably spot on, and it's still quite nice and clean. So we're good to go on that. Other things I would check generally on this mower would be any sort of movable, workable part. So it's just a normal oil can, 3-to-1 oil. This is just 3-to-1 oil in a normal can. And I would just, you know, check out the spring area, maybe where that's sort of a working area. Just lubricate any sort of moving parts, like so. And that, folks, is basically it on a service. So that would probably cost you £75 to £80 plus parts as well on top of that. So it's good. That's quite a good saving. So you could learn from that. One more thing to check now, and that's to just see if it starts. So the first things to do, pre-start checks, is just to make sure. Big fault generally is that is people forget to switch the petrol on, and generally if the switch is in line with the pipe, that's generally a good idea to say it's on, but it has got an on and off if you're not sure. Equally, make sure the plug cap is on. That's another reason for not starting. That's good. And then with most of these mowers, it has a dead man's handle, so you must depress the dead man's handle before starting. It's a safety feature built in all our mowers that any of the people we support is so as to keep everybody safe. So this is a quality mower, around £650 worth. If anybody wants to donate one to us, it'd be great. But you know, there you go. So starting procedure. It's not got an automatic choke, so you push the lever forward to the choke position, which is the sort of like an N shape, and depress the dead man's handle, and it should start straight away. So all is good, it's running well, and so I hope you enjoyed our session today. And keep safe, keep social distancing. We hope to see you all soon, where you can take part in our mowing our lawns and verges. And until then, it's goodbye from John.